Hello everyone, I'm back, though I didn't plan on leaving or not doing any videos, but as you may have noticed, I haven't put up a video in the last couple of weeks, and that's just because life got a little bit hectic. You know, um, I got a little more work now. As I mentioned before in the past couple, maybe 2 videos ago, I work as an insurance agent and I've been kind of getting a little bit more activity on that front. So I've been focusing on that. Some other things have come up, and I really hadn't had much time to do a video. In fact, I tried doing one on Sunday, where I would be showing the last 2 weeks of books. But as I was doing for recording that, I got to do some chores, some errands, and so I kind of cut it short. And by the time I had some free time, it was dark. So I decided to find some time this week to do a video. In fact, I was going to do uh, a live stream, a hangout, showing my books for the books from the last week of November, but that kind of fell through and I got a little bit too busy. So this video is just part one of a two-part one. So I got all this bunch of books for the past 2 weeks. So I'll be splitting it up in two. So this first part, I'll focus on the books from the last week of November, and part two would be I'll focus on the books that I got last week. Um, the other thing I had, so hopefully, I'll try to do another Comics and Beyond video, before the weekend, uh, uh, and uploading it on Sunday as I usually do, showing the last half of my Action Comics. Hopefully, my package from mycomicshop.com will be here. I expected it on Friday, but it hasn't arrived yet. And I'm kind of worried. I don't know if it's because of the bad weather over there, or the holidays, or Thanksgiving, kind of cutting through as my books shipped. So hopefully it arrives this week. Though it I haven't really gotten much mail, in the past couple of weeks. I mean, which it's kind of worrying me because I usually don't have any problems with the Mexican Postal Service. But I like to pen paling. It's another one of my interests. So I have a pen pal in South Korea. I sent her a letter months ago. It arrived on time. Her letter didn't arrive until last week, and she sent it pretty much maybe late October. So I don't know what that's all about. So hopefully, I'll have those books to show as well. So sorry for a long introduction. Next video is gonna be shorter, but just going with. So let's just get right to it. So first up, from about 2 weeks ago, Superman number 25, the last part of Krypton Returns. Uh, a shout out to Roger69501, who did uh, his review on the whole Krypton Returns crossover. I agree with his review, though I would give it the whole thing 4.5, just because I enjoyed the crossover, it was a short crossover, only 4 parts, so it really was a very tight story. It didn't, if you go a bit longer on some of these crossovers, you end up having some issues that just slow things down and are just seems like padding. This one was very focused, and this issue in particular, I loved. I love the conclusion of it. The art by Kenny Rocafort is amazing. Uh, Probably one of my favorite uh, images here is when Jor-El is from an alternate timeline is killing, trying to kill Hell. I mean, look at this, man. That is some awesome art. Uh, but the thing I liked about the whole conclusion is that, well, on the whole crossover in general, is it was an epic story, but it didn't require an epic number of issues to tell it. Uh, Another thing I like, it was a very uh, simple story in many cases. In this case, you had a threat, you had a villain. The villain is defeated, the threat is averted. There is some setup for future stories. And if you've watched my other videos, when I found out, for example, the last crossover I kind of read was Battle of the Atom for the Atom, and I mentioned in that I didn't really like the conclusion of that because it seems like there was really nothing spectacular about the ending. Everything pretty much stayed the same, with a few little things here and there. The big change, the the original team, leave the school and just go to join Cyclops. But besides that, there really wasn't much point to the story. So if anybody read the whole thing, please tell me if there was a point to that story. So okay. So but yeah, this issue was very good. Uh, Next up, Aquaman number 25, the last part of the Death of a King, and Jeff Jones' last story or last issue of Aquaman. Um, and while Jeff Jones is leaving Aquaman, he isn't even through with the character, as there will be a crossover or an event uh, in Justice League. I believe he said it would be starting around issue 28 or 29 of Justice League. So while this was a great conclusion to this arc and pretty much to all of Geoff Johns' run. I mean, here he tied this arc sort of tied everything up since issue number one. So really good stuff. Not so good was the Flash number 25, a 0 year tie-in. I This one it was an okay story, but it really just was a standard, police procedural type story, with Barry pretty much investigating, um, doing some investigation on in Gotham City with some drug dealers. Nothing extraordinary that you know to point out about it. So it wasn't okay. Teen Titans number 25. This one was a fun issue, I guess. I mean, it's been 2 weeks. I haven't really remembered much of it. This sort of starts to reveal a bit about who Kid Flash was before, joining the Titans and coming from his future to, the 21st century. And, so while it pretty much says the origin of Kid Flash, it's not really a full origin as we just get glimpses of it. Uh, and that which is basically the main focus of the story. While we do end up with the evil Superboy waking up, so the Superboy portion continues in this week's Superboy number 26, while next issue, while Teenage number 26 is going to be the beginning of the trial of Kid Flash. Uh, good issue. Probably one of the most amusing ones, as always, All-Star Western with John featuring Jonah Hex. This is sort of split into two parts, I guess. As back in issue 24, Constantine shows up. So here it finishes the portion of the John Constantine portion ends around halfway through, and something shows up at the very in the second half of the story. Um, there might be some ties to what's going on in Superman Batman right now because we get to see um, these flowers from that showed up, I believe, in Superman Batman issue 5, and it plays a role in issue 6 as well of that other book. So I'm definitely enjoying Jonah Hex's little trip through the present, because I'm seeing this story as I guess a grand tour of the DCU, but giving us the perspective of someone from the 19th century. So our present, seeing through the eyes of a man out of time, I guess. In fact, the politically incorrect stuff that Czech sometimes says, they seem to be his standard, and probably sounds so wrong for us. So it's still a very fun story. I also picked up a back issue 2 weeks ago to add to my growing Action Comics run. So I picked up Action Comics 671 from 1991. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it here, and I'll see you in a little while.